Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Friday the 13th is coming up this Friday. Our next guest, he doesn't run from ghosts. He hunts them down. He is Jack Osbourne. What's up, Jack?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Is this your favorite time of the year? We got Friday the 13th this Friday, Halloween around the corner. Do you find this being the time you enjoy the most?
I am a big fan of Halloween. It might be my favorite holiday with the kids, and yes, I consider it a holiday.
You have a costume ready for Halloween already? You dialed in?
I don't. As much as I love Halloween, I'm terrible at the whole costume side of things. Although I was doing the podcast with my family yesterday, and we were talking about Halloween on it, and I think the only year I really excelled was I hired an actual costume department. She worked did movies and things like that, and I dressed as David Bowie from Labyrinth.
That's a solid one. What I normally do is I find a celebrity or somebody that I respect that has passed away in the past year. So I've been Michael Jackson, I've been Prince, I've been Robin Williams. I'm doing Pee Wee Herman this year. Probably not going to get me laid, but should be a good costume. I'm thinking.
You're keeping it topical.
Yes, for sure. I know ghosts are not the only thing that you hunt. I hear you hunt deer and elk, and unfortunately, I can't believe it, but you're taking a lot of heat from the Daily Mail. I even watched the podcast with the family. Even the Prince of Darkness was giving you a hard time. Can you believe this?
I know. I was like, wow. I was pretty amazed. It was funny. The backlash. It's like I was the person who invented it, and no one had ever done it, and it was a horrible thing that ever existed. I'm like, wait a second. Millions of people do this. This isn't like a highly unique, rare phenomenon. And
I was surprised that your dad was conflicted about it, because I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe you can confirm this on this podcast, but I watched the movie Dirt, and, they got your old man snorting ants off of the pool deck, and then I see him biting heads off of bats. I mean, is that what your dad was really into back in the day, or is that just all, show business?
I think there might have been some extracurricular activities which contributed to, said activities. So, I think a more sober-minded, older Ozzy Osbourne is probably... he probably wouldn't be too thrilled to see himself do that.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Well, I've definitely been a fan of the first 4 episodes of the Osbournes podcast. It really takes us back to those MTV days where we fell in love with the entire family. I must say, good to see that your mom's doing well, and your dad had some good news to report on the last podcast. Can you update everybody quickly on how the family is doing? Because it was good to see you guys laughing and carrying on, just like your family always does.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, my dad had his spinal surgery on his neck, so now it's just all about physiotherapy. And then after that, if he ends up getting strong enough, he's probably gonna, he'll get back on stage eventually, which is good. I think there's a lot. We kind of been clearing up a lot of. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about why my dad isn't performing anymore. I think people think it's because of his Parkinson's, but it's really not. He had a bad neck injury.
Yeah, and he's getting up there in age. I mean, who wants to rock the stage when you start getting older? I mean, I'm sure your dad still wants to get out there, but there's also grandkids and other things and dogs and things he probably wants to enjoy. I want to enjoy this new podcast that you're working on, Ghosts and Grit. It launches this Friday the 13th, perfect day. I've heard you say that ghosts are not what we think they are. Do we find out what they are in this upcoming podcast, Ghost and Grit?
Well, like to say I think the only way we'll ever figure out what ghosts are is for, two reasons. One, if, someone can figure out how to make $1 billion out of it or more, or two, if the government can make a weapon out of it. And I don't think those two scenarios are very likely. So we don't, we're not trying to kind of figure it out. In this podcast, we have guests come on. They share their experiences about the paranormal, if they've had any, or if they even believe. We do have some pretty spirited kind of back and forth conversations, no pun intended. And it's great. And we also really dig into where my guests get their grit from, because I think to be successful, you got to have a level of grit.
And I feel like I saw your grit in you've stayed busy. I know a lot of Hollywood shut down, but I mean, you got this Osbourne podcast. You were on Fox with the Special Forces World's Toughest Test, and that had to show some grit. Is that one of the toughest things that you've ever been through, going through Special Force training?
It was really tough. It was very hard. It was really, psychologically, it was man, they grind you down. They keep you on edge the entire time. Your body just gives out. They beat you up for sure.
And I know that you have some paranormal evidence that I read about, and it unfortunately happened with your mom, I think about a year ago around this time, that she was rushed to the hospital and there was really no medical science to explain what happened, and it was while you were on one of these ghost hunt. What exactly happened?
We were filming an episode of my show, Night of Terror, and my mom was doing an experiment where you have a blindfold on and noise-canceling headphones, and she just leaned back in this chair and she lost consciousness, and she was out for about 20 minutes. Her breathing was pretty much, she stopped breathing for the most part. It was really insane. I've never seen anything like it. I have no idea what it was. The doctors don't know what it was. It was one of the most insane things I've ever experienced.
And is it scaring you to go out and continue to hunt these ghosts after you see what happens to your mom? And is she going to go out and do that again after what happened? You probably don't want her to. No,
she's not allowed to ghost hunt anymore. The only thing she's allowed to hunt for is, something to buy at a shop.
Perfect.
It was. It has definitely changed my perspective on things. The way that I've chosen to kind of chalk it up is, I think it was some kind of negative attachment, or she was attacked negatively by something. That's the only way I can explain it, because everything else what happened to us defies medical science.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
We're talking with Jack Osbourne. Make sure you check out his new podcast dropping this Friday, the 13th. It's called Ghosts and Grit. Also, the podcast, The Osbournes, is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I just have a couple of quick fire questions before we let you go, Jack. Do you have a favorite Ozzy album of all time? Your old man album, if you had to pick one that is your favorite?
Ooh, are we talking solo or Sabbath?
Maybe one. It's the Sabbath and solo.
My favorite Sabbath album is Sabotage, and solo album. Probably would have to either be Diary of a Madman or Osmosis.
Very nice. Yeah, I've been collecting vinyl, and I got to add an Ozzy and a Sabbath album to the collection, so I'm just going to go with your pick. I mean, why pick another one?
All right, there you go.
I appreciate that, and best of luck with everything that you're working on, Jack. I appreciate you coming on the show, man, and happy Halloween to you, my brother.
Thank you so much. Yeah, have a great one.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.